Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. F2 is here finally. We're going live with an F2 race. It's the first round of the season at Australia. One shot quali is underway, but I'll quickly introduce my co-commentator. It is Boosted, who's well versed in F2, but it's been a while. Boosted, how are you doing? Yeah, and I'm looking at this one-shot quality. We can already see who is fastest here. Noah going through Sector 2. Run Cruiser up to P2. Meepo P3. Wirch was leading there for a while, but yeah, we're going to see this shuffle about every corner. This is live telemetry, so we'll keep an eye on Noah here. He looks like he's got this car well under control. He's only got a few corners left, and he is currently leading the standings here. So it looks like he's got pole wrapped up. But Meepo and McKender popping up the charts. Icewind as well, his teammate for this series. But yeah, it looks like Noah's going to take it at the checkered flag. Pole position for him. Meepo will be P2 with McKender in P3, Touge P4. Icewind dropping down there a little bit in the last few corners. Lepson as well, doing pretty good. And yeah, we were talking about the format. It is a bit confusing. It might take a while to get used to, but we believe the one-shot quality actually decides the feature race. And for the sprint race, it's going to be top 8 that you see in front of you right now will be reversed for the sprint race, which is 50% race distance. And yeah, look at the tire allocation. You don't see those often. Super soft's been a while. Yeah, and ultras as well, I remember. Yeah, and just to talk a little bit about the cars, obviously they look a bit different, but they also drive a little bit different. And I was speaking to Joel before the race, and he was saying that it's quite difficult to downshift. You can't spam the downshifts like you would in a normal F1 car. And then also you have that turbo kicking in, which can also kick the back end out and can be quite hard to keep under control. Yep, and the drivers currently selecting their setup for the sprint race. You don't have to pit. Mandatory pit stop is not there for this race, but we're about to get underway. Boosted, take it away. I want to hear your race start commentary. Let's go. School line joining, yeah. Looks like a double 2Y going through the fast chicane. Oh my word, that looks sketchy. Oh! Jules off. Yeah. Yeah, and that means Icewind takes the lead. But yeah, Joel, he put some warm-up into this session. He was doing about an hour or two of practice there, so it was paying off, but yeah, he ran out of talent there at the end of the lap. Unfortunately, Iceland taking the lead, setting the fastest lap for lap 1, but he's got Wirtz keeping him very honest, and McKenna making moves as well. Oh, and Lepson's off, he's into the wall. Oh my word, that was terrible. He's lost a bit of front wing as well, so he's joining Joel at the back, so not the best start for Lepson. But the good thing about F2 is you get a second chance. You know, you got that feature race, so this is will be a warm-up for a lot of the drivers. But you do get that second opportunity. But obviously, yeah, not great that you're at the back of the grid. Still 10 laps to go though, so there are a lot of points on the table, and yeah, it's starting to settle down a little bit. Yeah, McKenna is lining up for a move here on Wirtz. Is he going to do it before the fast chicane? Desi is out though. He is he's our next victim. So 2 drivers out of this session already. As yeah, Icewind and McKenna are teammates in this, so this is looking pretty good for whatever team they're driving for. I cannot tell. Maybe Boosted can give us that information. I don't really follow the F2 real life stuff too closely, but yeah, they are looking good. P1, P3, and he is indeed. Yeah, and I'm looking at down the order as well. Tanari and Noah, both teammates in the yellow car, are looking pretty good. They're making their way through a lot of traffic. Tanari has made up a bunch of positions from the start, didn't have the best quality, but look who it is taking the lead. It's Wirtz. Oh dear. Yeah, Wirtz he's riding that win from yesterday. He won in Las Vegas in F1, and looking pretty feisty in F2 as well. Yeah, and I see Larson keeps joining the session, so I think he's having issues as well. He's actually DNF'd from the session, so that's our third participant out of the sprint race. Joel gets the first time, well, second time penalty of the session. Oh dear. Oh, that is horrible. Yeah, and Icewind, as that happened, picked up a time penalty, so that's 3 seconds to his name, but the fact that Wirch has that damage will spur him on somewhat. Yeah, and yeah, Noah was making his way through the field. Tanari was behind him, but Noah's took 2 positions there, just while we were watching the leaders battle it out. And yeah, Wirch struggling through those last 2 corners. And I'm sure Icewind is aware that Wirch does have that damage. If not, yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, I was just about to say that. He's driving pretty well here. He's able to hang in with McKender and fend off Icewind for now. And I tell you what, Meepo is starting to catch up with this group. It was 2 seconds last lap. It's down to 1.8, so there is possibility this second group of drivers will catch up. So yeah, we're at the halfway point of the race. No one has to pit here, but the tires will be starting to feel like they've had their best days. Oh, Noah had a big issue there coming out of that last corner on screen. Down to P6, lost 1 position. Oh! Yeah, Iceland not fighting off Meepo too much there. He didn't put up too much of a resistance. I did catch Schoolline as well, had a big moment on that last lap. And he is down to P8 now. Run Cruiser is starting to pick up positions. And tell you what, Schoolline and Run Cruiser going hard side by side for a very fast corner. And looks like Run Cruiser comes out on top there. Actually, yeah, actually, it was Schoolline actually took the position there from Run Cruiser. I'm getting mixed up all these different cars. And yeah, they're going side by side again. Oh my word. Yeah, Noah and Touge as well battling here. Noah back up to P5. And yeah, Meepo P3, he is on the back of Wirch. But Wirch is dropping off big time from McKender. The gap now 2.6. So I think that front wing damage is starting to hurt him. But he is able to defend quite well. So he's held on to P2 for now. But you can see the gap between McKender and Wirch heading down to the first corner. And Icewind still right on the back of Meepo. So hanging in there for the meantime. Oh dear, oh dear. I will take a look at that, yeah. But yeah, the race starting to settle down here quite a bit. Schoolline seems to be the closest guy. He's close on the back of Tanari.
corrects himself off, carries on going. Meanwhile, back at the front, I think McKenda's probably checked out now. He's got a comfortable gap to Meepo. I don't think Meepo's going to be able to close this down very easily, especially not with Icewind and Wirch still chasing him down. Got to say, big props to Wirch managing to still keep this kind of a pace up with a damaged wing. That's not really affecting him at all, or if it is, he's able to drive around it really well. Another yellow flag. I think that's going to be a DNF from... No, it's not. That's just Joel having a bit of a bad exit on the last corner.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough track in F1 cars, so I can't imagine how difficult it actually would be in the F2 cars. But yeah, as I say, does get a second chance in that feature race, so we may see him perform a little better there.
Like I say, it's just a case of trying to keep the revs up in these cars as much as you can, because you are missing the top two gears that you would normally have in an F1 car. And yeah, it's interesting to watch the gaps. You see the gaps kind of drop dramatically and increase quite dramatically. The concertina is quite huge, and a lot of that can be affected by just being momentarily out of sync with your gear shifts. So that you just need to be out by a fraction of a second, and that's the difference between a clean exit and a bog.
Lepson confirming the audio issues are fixed, so apologies for those technical issues.
Excellent.
We can now hear you loud and clear. So, yeah, Joel, 3 second time penalty, so not going
There's a
very
lot
well.
of penalties rolling in. I'm surprised there's as many penalties as there are, but then I guess you would be quite frantic in a sprint race, especially where there's, well, everybody's on the medium, so nobody opting to pit. And rightly so, I would imagine. But yeah, so people quite frantic to try and get their positions in quick, ready for the feature race. Just going to try and keep an eye on this battle now. Icewind keeping pace with Meppo quite effectively here. That's the kind of two main battles on the track at the minute between Icewind and Meppo, and Noah and Tuj, who's down in P6.
Yeah, I did see Icewind had a few opportunities to pass Meepo, but he's here's another one coming up, and again lifts off the throttle, decides to follow Meepo through, and Meepo getting a pretty good exit, so we're probably not going to see another attempt here. But yeah, Noah, there's a time penalty for him. He's in P5. That might cost him a position or two. Tenari picks up another penalty. Yeah, they're coming in thick and fast here, penalty-wise.
Yeah, so Noah's now carrying 6 seconds, which is a horrible position to be in. That's going to cost him dearly. That's going to drop him all the way down to P8, I believe. Not good for him. He's going to focus back to this race for P2 as we see Icewind's going to go for a move here. He's looking down the inside. He thought about it there. He tucked back in. I wonder if he's going to give it another go on the second DRS straight. Definitely seems to be getting a good exit. The gap is close enough. DRS is open once again. Comes out. Is he going to dive this? He is not. He's going to sit in there and wait for another chance. 4 DRS straights, of course, on this track, so quite a few overtaking opportunities.
Wow, I did not know that. 4 DRS straights?
4 DRS straights. The one on the start-finish line, of course, is kind of married to the second DRS straight. In that if you had DRS down the main straight, you would have DRS down the second straight as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The feeling of getting overtaken on the straight and then not having the DRS on the second straight. Oh, Icewind is going for it. He's going around the outside.
Oh my god, and he makes it stick.
Wow.
That was an unbelievably brave move around the outside.
Yeah, oh, there's Wirch with a 3 second time penalty. I'm thinking Icewind is looking good for a podium here, even with that time penalty. A lot of penalties behind.
Noah and Wirch are going to fall out of this at the end of the race. Icewind has 3 seconds, of course, so he will drop to... I think you might be right, in fact. I think he might... Well, mind you, Tuj or Tug, however we call him, he is keeping up there with this fight, so it's entirely possible that he might be able to make some moves here and possibly put himself into contention for a podium.
Yep, and Wirch running very closely here. He's now sandwiched between Tuj and Noah, but he is hanging in there. He's in damage limitation mode. He already has damage on the car, but his damage limitation in terms of where he finishes here, and he rides that curve very aggressively. And I saw some.
Something came off.
Yeah.
That was Tooge, wasn't it? Yep, that's his end plate gone
Oh
now
my
as well.
word.
He has had the same damage as Welch now.
Yeah, and in Tooge's favor, he doesn't have a time penalty, so as long as he doesn't pick up a time penalty, he's able to hang on to the back of Wirch. He will pick up a few positions here. But yeah, that looks good for Icewind then to seal that podium spot. And I tell you what, Meepo is keeping Icewind very honest here. They're running very, very closely together.
Yep, almost side by side once again there. He's having a little peek in the DRS straight. Gets a second dose of it here now. Will we see a dive into the last few corners here? He does go side by side with him. He's sending it. Icewind holds him off around the outside. Incredibly good stuff from these two. Really, really good considerate driving from both of them.
Yeah, very respectful stuff. Probably in VC together, but yeah, Meepo very aggressive usually, but Icewind, I love watching Icewind drive. I don't know about you, but it's just a pleasure to watch it. He just has control over the car, and he's just able to send it. And
that's McKender over the line. That's the end of the race already. That's caught me by surprise. My goodness.
Wow, that went in quickly. Yeah, I saw him pull over to the side of the straight. I thought there might have been an issue, but yeah, he wins the race. Meepo P2, Icewind P3, so does indeed get that podium spot. It was only just under 3/10 in it between him and Tooge. Tooge taking that P4 spot. Run Cruiser actually having a pretty decent race here. He started down the grid and he ended in P5. Wirch holding on for dear life, gets P6 in the end. Lepson in chat says, was I hyped about his debut? He almost did 2 laps. I'm very proud of you. That's probably one more lap than I would have done in that race.
Yeah, unbelievably cool stuff there. It's crazy how quick these sprint races go by. They're just everything that I expected from F2 and more, going by the last few seasons that we've had here, just full of action all the way up and down. And the cars are all really, really evenly paced as well. There's a lot less of a setup changes that you can make prior to the race. So a lot of the cars tend to run quite a bit closer together in terms of performance.
Yep, McKender taking the win, and you know, I just had a thought there because usually in Tier 1 we see Justin dominating, but no Justin on the grid today. So McKender taking that top spot with ease. He didn't have to contend too hard for it. It didn't look too difficult, and we may see our main challenger for that title in F2. There is, I think it's 10 rounds this season for F2.
And something like that, yeah.
Yeah, McKenna getting full points in the sprint race, and yeah, going to be interesting in the feature for sure. That one-shot quality deciding the grid, and we'll soon get a glimpse of the starting positions in a moment. But yeah, a bit more strategy calls to be made in the feature race. You do have a mandatory pit stop. Thankfully, it is dry though.
Yeah, something I hadn't actually thought about was the weather, but yeah, as you say, it looks like we're going to get a dry couple of races tonight. We'll see what compounds the drivers opt to go for. Like you say, there will be one stop. I would imagine it will be. I don't know. Do you get softs enough in the F2 series? I think you do, don't you?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Have you got a guy on your screen and he's like a wee animation, but he's cheering into the building?
Yeah, Codemasters. There's 2 facing the correct way, and then a 3rd guy facing the totally wrong way.
Here we go.
We're on the grid here, so yeah, lights are going on again. 5 lights are on. We're away. It's Noah going to lead us away for this one. Mepo's going to start just behind him. It looks like a cleaner start this time than what we had in the sprint race. Noah's managing to build a gap already as everybody behind him's tripping over one another. So immediately a very good strong start there from Noah. There's yellow flags at the very back. I think that's Horizon having a small issue there. Side by side, I think almost for P3 and 4. It's McKender and Icewind. They're going to have to watch not to take each other out. They are, of course, teammates. Tug is coming under quite a bit of pressure early on here as well, as is Icewind himself now, as Roach manages to dive up behind him there. So really, really close stuff straight off the bat again. Further down the grid, there's like 2 or 3 wide coming around this first sector into the beginning of the second sector now. Bottom 3 or 4 are all over each other. Skip back towards the top 2. We've got position change as McKender comes down the inside. Easy position straight off the bat for him as we go through the chicane for the first time in this feature race.
Yeah, lots of jostling for position, and I'm looking at the tires boosted. We do have a split here. It's super softs, and then about half the grid on mediums as well. So that's why we're seeing a lot of drivers making their way through the field as they try to get them. Oh, and there is a big accident at the back. I think Joel might have been involved in that, and Horizon as well. Actually, Horizon, yeah, it looked like Joel and maybe Larson got mixed up there, and I've fallen down the order.
Yeah, no sign of any damage for any of them there. So if there was any wheel bumping, everybody's managed to get away with it and get back running again. There is a move going on down the start-finish straight, or almost. Wirch was having a right good look at the back of Touge there. He's going to come around here and get another dose of DRS, though. Is he going to have another attempt here? Or maybe not, my mistake. DRS is another lap away yet. Of course, this, what I was saying earlier, this section of DRS is linked to the first section of DRS, so that will not be active yet. I'd imagine we should get DRS down the back, though, instead. Gonna have another quick glance towards the front here. Noah is still managing to put those super softs to good work there. He's pulling quite a gap already. 2.5 seconds in 2 laps. Really, really impressive stuff.
Yep, and Wirch going around the outside of who is that? Touge, is that, or Icewind, or?
It is Touge. Yep, Icewind is there. They're ready to pounce in case it goes wrong. So he's having a good look, and now it looks like actually he's managed to get a good run on him as well, coming down into the last couple of corners here. Not able to do too much on this occasion. So we've got 4 of them running very, very close to one another now. This is a fight for P4. We have a fight for P2 and a fight for P4. Effectively at the minute, and then we've got the best of the rest behind that.
Yeah, and Run Cruiser very, very close on the back of Icewind. Icewind very close on the back of Wirch. Who's going to blink last, or who's going to blink first?
Yeah, everybody just holding formation for now.
Touge, I think Touge had a big issue coming through the first corner. A very bad exit, and that is compromising big time. Wirch is going down the inside. He capitalizes on that mistake, and it looks like Wirch is up to P4. Yes, it is indeed.
And at the same time, Icewind making an identical move on Run Cruiser as well, which has put him up one position as well. But all this fighting's now allowed Skullline to get up involved with the group here. So we now have a 5-way fight for this P4. P4.
Yeah, and ERS isn't a thing in F2 cars, so I think we're seeing a lot more featuring of the slipstream effect in these cars as McKender
there's
gets
a position change up at the top. Yep.
I was heading down to the fast chicane, so yep. I think that kind of demonstrates what I was talking about. Slipstream, big effect there, but also DRS has been activated, as you have rightly stated, and Run Cruiser getting past Icewind, heading down into this corner. He takes the inside line. Icewind goes out wide onto the curb, and Run Cruiser makes it stick. He's up to P6 boosted.
Yep, he's gonna try and get a run back on him, I think, coming onto the main start-finish straight here. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see Skullline having a go. Run Cruiser's now all over the back of Touge as well. Coming into the first corner, he's pulled out. Is he going to make it here? He's gone the super softs, of course, so he has got the tyre advantage. Makes that look easy, doesn't he?
Wow.
Straight down, no issues at all. And on to the next DRS straight.
Yep, and there's our first time penalty of the session. Icewind 3 seconds as he gets passed by Skullline. So Icewind down to P8 and now carrying 3 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, it's not something you want so early on into the race. We're only on lap 4 after all, so that's going to hamper his chances, unfortunately, in this race. Have a quick peek up at the front. Noah has pulled an unbelievable gap. He does need to pit, of course, but then I guess they all do, so it'll be interesting to see whether McKender can then close that gap when the tyre gets reversed effectively. There's another transition further down the order. It's P4 and 5 swap and 6 and 7 swap. Someone is dropping there significantly. That's Icewind just dropped all the way down to P9 now.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that was on that straight before the fast chicane. Yeah, I think that's like if you get a bad exit from the corner before that straight, it just costs you so much time on the run down to the fast chicane.
Yep, and the straight is so long as well. Well, again, not necessarily a straight as such, but it's such a long section of the track where you're flat out. It's if you have like 2 or 3 guys bunched up behind you, you really are at the mercy. If you haven't got DRS, you're going to get passed by 2, 3 people potentially there.
Yeah, and I think we need to keep an eye on Run Cruiser as well. He's on these super softs. He's managed to make his way through most of the traffic, but he's now come up against Meepo, who's on these medium tires. And we may see Run Cruiser go for a move, and he did! Oh my god, you don't want to do it there, though. You don't want to stick your nose in the last second. It will get chopped off, and Run Cruiser lucky to get away with that. I don't see any damage on the car or any carbon fiber flying off, but that was a very bold move from him.
Yeah, I think a little bit overly optimistic there, a bit too much of an opportunist maneuver there, but not working out for him at all. They all have DRS now. McKender is going to have to struggle to keep this lot behind them. I think it looks like we're going to get a move here. No, we're not. Single file through the chicane. We'll get another chance on the next DRS straight now. Run Cruiser's all over the back of Mepo here. They're side by side, coming down into the last section of corners. He's going to make it stick, I think. Mepo's trying to fight it off. A bit of wheel bumping going on, but everybody through cleanly.
Yeah, Run Cruiser looking very punchy in this phase of the race. He's making up positions left, right, and center, and he's now up to P3 with McKender in front of him. Yeah, he's just making the most out of these super softs, and that's what you have to do. You have to be aggressive and push for positions and maximize the performance of these super softs, because he will be on the mediums for the final phase of the race. Oh,
Looks
and
like
look at that.
He's lining himself up here, isn't he? He's going to go for it again.
Yeah,
he's hanging out to the left, so he's going to try around the outside of McKender. And he makes it stick.
Wow,
my goodness.
That's impressive. I mean, you can see going through turn 1 there, just how much momentum and the confidence of which he was able to carry that through that first corner set him up nicely for that move. And we're seeing Lepson drop down to P11, got overtaken by Tenari there.
Yeah, just so much more grip on these super softs, isn't there? As you say, drivers seem to have a hell of a lot more confidence coming out of the corners, and they're able to get onto the power so much earlier than the medium runners. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Someone is stopped. I think that's Joel. Has had a little spin there. Yep, gets back underway. There's a position change up ahead, or almost. A side-by-side moment. We're going to get another one now. I think Run Cruiser's got a really, really good run on McKender here. Is this going to be a dive? No, it could have been. He decides against it. He's going to hold off for the main straight, I think.
Yeah, so Run Cruiser actually overtook McKender, so McKender took that position back there, and we may see a repeat of the last lap as McKender page. Not sure what's going on right now. Let me have a look and see if I can find out. Boosted, are you there or no?
I am.
Oh,
still
there
here.
he is.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now, yeah. Did you get kicked out of the session too, yeah?
I'm not sure. No, I am still in the session. Possibly a bit of lag.
Alright, I got kicked out. It said migrating host, so...
Okay.
And it's now showing the winner of the race on the podium for me. What the hell? Okay.
Very, very strange. I can assure you we are definitely still very much racing. Lap 7 of 17 here in Australia. The gap between Run Cruiser and Noah at the top is slowly starting to come down. These two are running on the same tyre. A few more penalties and what are coming in. There's 3 wide coming into one of the final corners here. That's Wirch, Mepo and Crystals now squabbling over P3, I think that is, P4. Side by side once again. There's a slight spin from Wirch as he dives into the pit lane. Could have been one of those awkward moments where he's trying to pit whilst being undertaken there, so awkward pit entry for him. As the field heads round into the first corner once again, the gap between McKender and Run Cruiser has dropped dramatically. What's happened at the top there? I think of course, Wirch has dropped right down. My timing tower is completely all over the place now. This is very strange.
Yeah, and
So Run Cruiser is in the lead.
Yeah, very weird.
Kender is, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm able to make sense of this correctly or not.
Yeah, Runkers are picking up a penalty there, but I didn't see him cut the track, which is weird. But I am back in the session, which is great. So we're back live on stream. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this lobby. Hopefully it holds together. We're only approaching the halfway point of the race, and it's been quite a great, good race so far. X Crystals up to P3, is that right?
I see what's happened there now. Yeah, so in that confusion, Noah actually pitted. Wirch also pitted. So the first two pit stops of this race from the super softs onto the medium, and that explains why everybody's bumped up. Of course, Noah did have that almost 5-second gap down to Run Cruiser. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to maintain that now, or if Run Cruiser's effectively overcut here is going to get the jump as he just gets past there, as he does indeed pit. So super softs are now pitting.
Yeah, Run Cruiser, very aggressive pit entry there, almost clattering the wall on the way into the pits, but yeah, every second counts, I guess, and Run Cruiser looks like he's in this for the win today, or at least a podium. He's been looking very feisty all race long, but McKender out front, extending these mediums. They will be able to go a bit longer, but he will be thinking about these. He'll be looking forward to getting on these super softs. They will be absolutely rapid for the final part of the race for him.
So Run Cruiser, who extended his super soft stint there after having, well, I think he was about between 4 and 5 seconds down on Noah there. So that's your net P1 and P2 at the minute, who are currently in 7th and 8th. That gap has actually reduced quite a bit. I think Run Cruiser's managed to take almost a second out of Noah by running 1 lap longer on the super soft. And of course, he's going to have 1 lap fresher mediums now as well.
Ooh, and I'm looking at Meepo and Icewind. Icewind got past Meepo, but then he runs wide, coming out of the fast chicane. That allows Meepo to get alongside and take that position back. So Meepo and Icewind once again finding each other in track. It's very similar pace, and happy to do battle once more. Another yellow flag there. It looks like a McLaren Horizon at the back, struggling.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. Icewind has a wealth of sim racing experience in general, and very much took Mepo under his wing as a sort of protege almost. So we're seeing the teacher and the student here, so to speak, doing battle. But very entertaining, of course. Icewind's going to get a run on him here. In fact, he has DRS, but Mepo had a really good exit out of that second corner there. Manages to cover that off.
Lepson staying out on these super softs. He's up to P5, so looking good right now, but he does have to pit. Quite a number of drivers still have to pit. Desi there has to pit off the mediums. All the top 4 have to pit, and Joel as well in P13. That's a painful one. He still has to pit.
Yeah, it's interesting. So with what I was saying earlier about Run Cruiser managing to pull a second back from Noah by extending his super soft stint, I wonder if we're going to see Lepson managing to effectively overcut to some degree as well and get himself back up and into the action as well. And just as I say that, he picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that's like a bit of a horrible curse.
Yeah, and Horizon as well, deciding to call it quits in the pits.
Yeah, I think he's had enough for one day. He's quite a bit down on the rest of the field here, so...
McKender in the pits as well, boosted. Meepo joins him. Is Icewind going to come in as well? Icewind stays out.
Sonari pits as well. Lepson pits also. So yeah, so this is your, I guess, your second phase of pit stops then, where the mediums are going to come in and jump on the super softs. Keep an eye on where Noah feeds back into this. Noah should be our net race leader. He's coming down the straight now. Bumps back up into P3, so is currently on course to continue with his race lead. He's going to get past the Desi here, I think, around the outside. Makes that look quite easy.
Yeah, a bit of an issue going for the turn 1 though. He did hit the back of a Desi. Just had a lot more grip in those tires, and it caught him off guard a little bit.
Lepson's had a spin.
No, not Lepson.
Towards the back there. I don't know how he's managed that, because he would have just been coming out the pit lane there, and he was spinning on the main straight. He wasn't near the first corner yet. I'm not sure how he's managed that. I wonder if there was a bit of contact on the pit exit, perhaps.
Yeah, Joel as well retiring in the pits, so we're now down to 13 drivers. And yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked about the risk of safety car, but it looks like I can't see there being a safety car in this race. I mean, it looks like everybody's got their car pretty much under control, and I might have cursed the race, so we may see a safety car immediately pop up.
Yeah, as you say, the racing has been generally quite clean. It has been aggressive. There has been wheel bumping, but full of action as we expected with the F2 season.
Yeah, Icewind in the pits.
Great to see.
Icewind in the pits, and yeah, he probably did wanted to pit last lap, but his teammate was in the pits, so and he was leading the race at the time, so he gets preferential treatment. But Icewind will pop out, and it looks like he's going to be around P5, maybe P6. Let's see, he was battling Meepo pretty hard. Meepo gets past him, so actually that overcut, it looks like it's cost Icewind quite a bunch of time there, quite a handful of seconds.
Oh, someone's cutting turn 1 there. Who was that?
Scoreline, yeah.
Scoreline going for a bit of rallying. He's going to lose out now as Icewind takes that position back.
Lots of penalties coming in as well. X-Crystals, the latest to get 3 seconds to his name.
Yeah, as you say, that's cost Icewind quite dearly, that, as he's lost out of position and quite a bit of time to Meepo. So it's unfortunately not worked out very well for him.
And he still has to get these tires up this.
Oh, Makenda! Makenda's going to go around the outside of Run Cruiser here. He does, of course, have the tyre advantage, being on those super softs now, but that was for a net position. So Makenda pushing himself up into P2.
Yep, enough in between him and Noah right now, so he can just concentrate on getting that gap under control, bringing it down, and just reining Noah in. And Makenda on 1 lap super soft, so he'll be feeling like a racing god right now, untouchable. But as we've seen, mistakes can happen. But he's already got that gap down to 3.3 in about 2 free corners. He took a half a second out of that gap. And
the fastest lap.
Fastest lap as well. So not looking good for Noah right now, but 3.2, he has to hang in there and just try to do as fast each lap as possible, and hope those super softs fall off a little bit.
Only 4 laps to go in this race, of course, so he's definitely going to catch him. I would imagine it would be in a lap, or maybe 2 at most. So he's going to have 2 laps of defending. Another yellow flag there. That's is that Lepson again having on the start-finish straight having a moment, and Scoreline retires.
Oh my word!
He's crashed. Oh, his wheels off. That's a safety car.
Oh my word! Okay.
How's that for a commentator's car? So if you look at Adesi coming around the corner now, you can see the wreckage still on the right-hand side where Scoreline. I missed what actually happened there, but if I had to guess, I'd have to say potentially spinning off onto the right-hand side there on the corner exit.
Yeah,
maybe with the turbo kicking in.
We saw that him struggling. I remember Icewind coming out of the pits, Scoreline cut that corner, so he's again struggled through that corner, but this time he paid the ultimate price, as they say. And this is going to be interesting. Safety car who is going to pit for super softs, and who's going to stay out? I imagine the guys who've just pitted will probably
stick.
Those
who are on the... Yeah, definitely. I mean, Noah pits. Okay. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do here, but Noah opting to pit. Makenda pits as well. Okay, so if everyone behind Noah is going to pit, then this should be okay. But my assumption would have been with 4 laps to go, we're going to have probably 2 laps behind the safety car. We're really only going to have 2 laps of racing. Is it really worth jumping in for super softs at this stage?
Touche
That's
thinks
a
not.
Fighting.
Touche stays out. Tanari stays out. Icewind as well. He only had 2 laps on those tires, so it made sense for him to stay out as well. But I often say this, but this is huge for Touche. He's a master strategist. He's won so many races on strategy alone. We may see another one added to his belt today.
I mean, unfortunately for him, he is on 5-lap-old super soft, so they are quite a bit more worn than the guys behind him. But certainly for the likes of, for a lot of the guys that just pitted there with the super softs to go into fresh super softs, they only had maybe like 2-3 laps of wear on those tires. It seems really, really strange to opt for another set of tyres at this stage. I honestly would have thought they would have just carried on to the end. I could be wrong, obviously. These guys know what they're doing, and they're a hell of a lot quicker than I am. But it'd be interesting to see. So Noah was our race leader before that spate of pit stops. So we'll see if he's going to be able to carve his way back up to the top. I assume his thinking is maybe that Tuj is on those 5-lap old super softs, and the two guys immediately in front of him are both carrying penalties. So he's maybe hoping that Tuj perhaps falls down, gets a bit swallowed up by the order, and Noah then perhaps can inherit some positions at the end of the race.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Lepson as well. I'm seeing him on these 3-lap mediums, and he's at the back of the grid. Why would you not pit? Maybe he's fearful of not catching up with the safety car when it gets underway, but I would have thought, if you're at the back, you got nothing to lose. Stick on a fresh set of super softs.
Yep, for sure. I mean, especially, like I say, we're going to get about 2 laps, I think, of the safety car. When we go on to lap 15, the car will be mandated to pit at that point. Of course, we always get 2 laps of racing at the end, regardless of what happens. So yeah, you're only going to get 2 racing laps out of these. I do find it very, very odd that a lot of the front runners there, having just changed their tyres, deciding to pit.
Yep, Lepson again staying out. I thought he might have won in that lap, but no, he decided to stay out. Larson behind him on fresh super soft, so Lepson's going to have a hard time getting into the points, I think, unless there is some shenanigans ahead. There is a lot of penalties on the board, and they always say late safety car is very bad for you if you have a penalty. So if you do not have a penalty, this might be very profitable for you. I'm thinking the likes of Larson and McKender, Noah as well, no penalty, but Tuj in P1. And he has a bit of a cushion behind him. He has Tenari, Icewind on these older super softs, and they have penalties. So Tuj looking very good here, Boosted.
Some of the penalties are quite big as well. Tenari's on 6 seconds, as is Wirch and as is Crystals. So that's P2 and P5 and P7, all on 6-second penalties. Everybody else is carrying a 3-second penalty at the moment. Safety car is indeed in this lap, as we suspected, so we are going to get 2 laps of racing. This is going to be frantic, so buckle up.
Yeah, it's not good as a driver usually, but Wirtz dropping down.
Oh, someone spun.
What the?
Wirtz has managed to spin on the safety. That's horrendous. That's absolutely destroyed his chances. As if it wasn't bad enough for that penalty situation. Now he is right at the back, and unfortunately has the oldest tyres of the grid here. He's going to really, really struggle.
Yeah, you don't see that often, do you? But I guess if you're aggressively tire warming, it can happen.
Easy done, like you say. The turbos do catch you by surprise. Tuj doesn't seem to be hanging about here. No, he's away already. Straight off the final corner, flat out. And we are racing for 2 more laps. There's an overtake going on immediately back. That's Run Cruiser coming down the inside of Crystals, I think. He should get a drop on him here there. Again, has the tyre advantage. But doesn't make it stick. Crystals manages to hold him off around the outside into the next section of the straight.
Oh,
side by side once again.
Meepo's off. Meepo had a big spin coming out of the first corner there, and that has cost him big time. He is dropping down the order. He is last and getting himself back on track. So that is terrible for him. He was looking very good for a podium, but yeah, not going his way today.
Gonna try and keep an eye on Noah here as we come onto the back straight flat out section for the first time. See if he can't claw his way back up to the top where he was before the safety car came out. He hasn't got long to do it, so he needs to make this count. He's going to go around the outside. There's another move immediately ahead of him for the lead as well. That's Tunari going around the outside of Tuj. Noah almost going around the outside as well. Forces Tuj wide. He's going to try and have a go again down this back straight. We're going to have an Invicta 1-2 in a minute at this stage. He's gonna make it stick on the outside. Inside even, is he? Nope. Tuj is still hanging in there. They're still side by side. McKender sneaking down there. Ever the opportunist. He's gonna try and go around the outside on the second to last corner here. Makes it stick as well. And the other Prema of Icewind now having a good look. So Tuj has fallen down the order quite considerably. So maybe I was wrong with what I was saying there. Perhaps pitting was absolutely the right call to make here. The guys on the fresh tyres are just eating up those who stayed out.
Oh, Tuch getting a free second time penalty, cut turn one there, and the reason why he was going for a move, and he got the move, but he also got a free second time penalty, so that is not good for him as he continues to fall down the order. We've got Adesi making a move on Crystals. We've got Run Cruiser and Tuch still going at it. Oh my word, Tuch having a big moment there. And yeah, it's all falling apart for Tuch. But look at the V cars, yeah, P1 for Tenari with a 6-second time penalty, so he just needs to bang this lap in. It's the last lap of the race, believe it or not. But Noah on for the win here, unless McKinnon can do something about it. He is a bit far back for now, but if he gets a very good exit from this fast chicane, he might be able to pull something off in the final corners of this race. And he does get a really good run. But I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, McKender closing here. I don't think he's going to get it here. It's going to have to be a late dive somewhere if he wants any chance of making this. The question now is how far is Tinari going to drop down the order? And where's Larson going to finish? Larson has no penalties. There is quite a gap between Lepson and Crystals, to be fair. Yeah.
McKenna was thinking about going down the inside in the final corner, but yeah, thought better of it. So Noah takes the win. Tenari takes it on track, but yeah, his teammate taking the win. McKenna P2, Run Cruiser P3. That is quite something from him. Tuj ended up in P4 or P5 with Tenari 6-second time penalty. Drops down to P4, so not too bad from it. Icewind DNFing. At some point there, but where did Larson end up there? I didn't catch that.
He did jump up. I think that was 8th, 7th or 8th. I'm not sure. The DNF from Icewind there confused the timing tower quite a bit at the end there. But yeah, he gained 2-3 positions after that, easy. So a nice reward for clean driving for him.
Yep. So McKender taking the sprint race, but the full points for the feature go to Noah. And yep, his teammate taking the flag on track, but 6-second penalties. I mean, he's quite lucky to get that P4, given the extent of those penalties. But a lot of points for the V cars. I'm just going to call them V cars. Is it Invicta? Is that what it is?
Invicta, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, a well-deserved victory there. And one hell of a drive as well. Like I say, I initially calling that perhaps pitting wasn't the right thing to do there, but I was absolutely proven wrong. Quite an action-packed couple of races then. It's exactly what we hoped from F2, but yeah, it doesn't get any easier to commentate on. Unbelievable action all the way up and down the grid as well. Just pockets of fights everywhere.
Yep, you love to see it, don't you? You do indeed.
Absolutely.
We do have to talk about driver of the day. It's a bit harder for F2 because there's 2 races to decide. I think for the standout driver for me, from what I saw, was Run Cruiser. He looked very feisty today, very punchy in the F2 car. So I would back him for it. But unless you have any other thoughts, Boosted.
Yeah, no, I'd Run Cruiser a good option to go for sure. It'd be a tight one between him and Noah, I think, just because of the domination that he showed in the second race there. But yeah, no, happy to give it to Run Cruiser on this one. Like you say, very, very aggressive, but very, very clean at the same time. Lots of action and just not afraid to get his elbows out and get stuck in.
Okay, let's see. We do have an interview waiting in the wing. It's Brother Joel. Let's bring him in. Brother Joel, I mean, what do you say about that? It didn't go your way today. I know you put some practice in, but what was it? What was the issues you were facing out on track there today that you were struggling with?
Well, I was slow, but I also got, well, I don't really want to say it, but I got kind of punted off twice in the 2 races, but in the same corner as well, which is annoying.
Yeah, I think we'll call it the aftermath of that. But I mean, in the sprint race, you were looking pretty good. You were up the front end of the grid, but yeah, due to that incident, it just kind of knocked you out. And then the feature race. Just tell us about how did that go for you?
I got a pretty decent start. I think I just made too many mistakes, so dropping down. But it was all good fun, and I think it'll be a good season. Looking at the stream there in the last couple of laps, how close everyone was after the safety car, brilliant.
Yeah, It looked like it was fun, but the F2 cars do look like a bit of a handful in certain parts of that race. Like we were talking about the turbo kicking in, and obviously, yeah, that you don't have the ERS to contend with, but a lot of time penalties today. What was the issue there with the time penalties? Was it just
I think it's just the cars are so understeery naturally, especially with full fuel loads and on the harder compound tyre. If you miss your braking point, you can't stop in time to just not extend on the exit. So it's just accuracy, I think. You've not got much margin for error. Like in an F1 car, you can really slam on the brake and turn quite a bit because you've got quite a lot more grip, but it just takes you sailing off the track if you get something slightly wrong.
okay? And strategy wise, you went for was it the mediums you started on? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're just split with Fede. We did one each, so
Okay, and I'm trying to find the what's the next race?
I think we're in Brazil, are we? Yep,
Oh,
next
Brazil.
week.
That should be interesting, yeah. So yeah, over 10 rounds. What do you reckon? I mean, didn't go your way today, but are you hoping for some better performances? I take it then heading into the next race. I mean, Brazil. It's not that hard, is it really?
no, I like the track. I just need to put more practice in, basically. Yeah, I only had this evening, so that will be that. And yeah, it's quite difficult because the cars are so similar. It's so difficult to find a way to be faster than someone else when you're going so slow, if you know what I mean. Like, to try and get that extra few tenths is really quite hard compared to an F1 car. You know, you can brake a few meters later and get on the throttle a few seconds earlier, but with this, you're sort of already on the limit, or at least it feels like it for me. So
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
practice
something
is
we
needed.
noticed. Something we noticed today for sure is the sort of concertinaing in the F2 cars is way more prominent than in the F1 cars, and if that's what you're saying makes sense with the being a bit more handful, a bit more understeering. That I guess it's so much easier for people to make a mistake in the F2 cars and then be able to recover from that effectively. And what you end up seeing then is small errors on corners are then exacerbated and account for a much larger amount of time loss, and that's why you're seeing all these little pockets of fights all the way up and down the grid. I would assume as a result of that.
Nice. I only got Icewind waiting. He's been a lot more relevant in these races than others.
Well, anyway, we'll just say you're the manager of F2, so great start has to be said, and yeah, we're looking forward to some of these races. I had to look at the calendar. There's some great tracks coming up. Qatar will be interesting in F2 cars. Silverstone, you got the classic Silverstone, Spa, yeah, and then Imola as well. That'll be interesting in an F2 car. I'm just imagining going for Aqua Minerale. That's going to be quite the spectacle. So yeah, yeah. So we will let you go, Joel, and we will speak to you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, and we'll bring in Ice Wind. Uh, had some really good battles out there. Some time penalties. Had a safety car. So just tell us about your sprint and feature, Ice.
Mass disaster. Like everything completely terrible. I think the battles I had were basically just getting overtaken by everybody. So yeah. But what can you expect? Yeah, but it let's just say it wasn't great.
We did see.
Saw you,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I was going to say we saw you fighting with Meepo quite a lot in that race. Were you guys running in VC together for that?
I mean, sure, but I didn't really feel like talking too much over there. I don't know. I was on the back foot the entire race, qualifying 2.3 seconds off. Race wasn't really all that much better like the first one. I don't even know how I ended up in third or whatever, but I think it must have been like because the people who take pole actually get put at the back and they couldn't make their way through or something. But yeah, it was pretty dreadful. No, I don't know what else to say, man.
I love it. You get a podium and you're like, yeah, that was dreadful. Like, I'm just terrible. It's like pull or sorry, not pull, podium.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's no pace. Setup I had made yesterday didn't really feel any good today, so I don't know. It's just weird.
Did you feel like you were struggling with understeer at all? We were speaking to Joel there, and he was saying how the F2 cars are quite a bit more understeer than the F1 cars, and that was possibly then accounting for a lot of the penalties that we're seeing in both races.
I think it was mostly about my inability to brake properly in those cars, because I kept locking up my fronts all the time and ending up wide, and that's where my warnings came from. So, like, generally I don't really mind understeer. That's okay to me, but yeah, I don't know. Just the balance of the car wasn't good at all. So I don't know. Struggling with braking, I think that was kind of the crux of my race, and I don't remember who overtook me from like a second away because I braked way too early or something. So I don't know. It's just weird and very, very, very different to the F2 cars from whenever we had the last season, 2020 or something. But yeah, it's just sort of strange to drive, and I don't know what kind of assists are other people running, but like at least when I'm running nothing, it feels like there's just it feels very random how the rear end of the car works under acceleration. So in low speed, you're sort of expecting, because it's a turbo engine, that it would actually kick in like the old F2 cars would, but now it feels like you have, I don't know, 200-degree rear tires under acceleration from turn 3, for example, the right-hander at the end of the second DRS straight at the beginning of the lap, and I don't know, it just feels very unnatural to me, and we'll see what we can, or what I can do about that later in the season, but yeah, this was not great.
It's an interesting thing with you mentioned about the turbo and stuff. I was doing a few laps earlier on, and the one thing that I kind of noticed there is when you're coming out of, especially say the last corner onto the main pit straight, you kind of have the option as to what gear you want to exit that on, but you can exit in like a low gear and keep the revs high to get a decent speed coming out, but then you're risking unloading the rear wheels, spinning the rear wheels up and having a slide there, or you can like downshift to a slightly lower gear. You'll have a little bit of lag coming out of the corner, and then the turbo comes in and then spinning the wheels up that way, so it's almost like a catch-22, and you're kind of having to jump between the two and balance everything the whole time.
Yeah, but like I wasn't really feeling like the turbo, or then my setup was like completely the wrong way or something, but it felt like I had, when you would expect to be able to go on throttle, like from a low speed corner, let's say turn 3 for example, or the weird 90-degree corner at the end of the back straight, it feels like, I don't know, it's like you touch the throttle and it just instantly wheel spins when you wouldn't expect it to. So I don't know, I think my setup was just a complete mess. Must have been like the balance was just completely off, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, there's 10 rounds in this season, and we were talking about it with Joel. There's some great tracks coming up. Belgium, Silverstone. Tracks like Qatar as well would be interesting in a F2 car. Have you had a look at the season, or are you thinking of eyeing up any particular races that you are looking forward to, or is it just going to be to see what happens?
See what happens, to be honest. If anything, this sort of decided that I will go the same way as I did in the previous F2 seasons. It's 3 laps maximum of practice, and that's it. So I am not gonna bother bother too much. Might be nice to get some sort of an understanding of the rear end of the car there, because that was just horrendous under braking for me. So we'll see.
Okay.
So
Well,
let's pick up a podium with 3 laps of practice. That's still pretty good.
I mean, yesterday I did a little bit more than 3 laps, but it didn't really seem to help too much today. So yeah.
okay. Well, we appreciate you joining us in the commentators booth. Always a pleasure to see you racing and hear your experiences afterwards. Even though you're downplaying the podium, still a good finish there in the sprint.
It was lucky. That's it.
Okay. Wish I was lucky. I must be very unlucky.
Second race was more like my real level, which what was it, P8 or something, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully better performances ahead. But yeah, again, thanks for joining us in the commentator's booth, Ice. We'll speak to you no doubt soon. And
Thanks.
I think that's it. Boosted, we'll wrap it up. It's been an interesting start to the season. We did have some technical issues. We got through those, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to how this plays out. Hopefully, see you on track soon. Actually, yeah, hoping we'll see the mighty Boosted rejoin F2 and show these guys how it's done.
We'll see. But no, action-packed as ever. It's what we've come to expect from F2, and it's just classic F2 and SLR, isn't it? We get this every time we have the F2 season running. Lots and lots of action, lots and lots of fights. It's you never really get any chance to take a breather or anything. There's always something going on. And as you say, it's a really strong-looking calendar as well. I think Portugal is going to be a really, really interesting race. That's going to be towards the end of January. Just for the sort of the roller coaster flowing nature of the track, especially in these cars. If the handling's a bit awkward, I think we're going to see quite a few thrills and spills there as well.
Yeah, and like I was thinking McKenna after that sprint race is going to run away with the championship, but Noah taking it home, he seals the deal in the feature race, so he will most likely be leading the championship standings when they're put out. So it looks like we are going to have a well contended title in the drivers' championship anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, with the cars being so evenly matched as well, I think that's what kind of does it. And as you were saying, I think during the race as well, the lack of ERS, it just levels the playing field quite considerably. There's less options to tinker with in the setups for these cars, and no ERS, and it makes for a hell of a lot closer racing.
Yeah, and I did have a quick look there to see all the drivers registered. I thought Justin might have just not made it today, but it looks like he hasn't actually got a full-time seat, so he will not be contending for the driver championship unless he joins. I might send him a wee DM later on because it could be interesting to see. Justin usually, yeah, he's won a few F2 titles before, I think, and I think even if he was to join in round two, he would definitely be in contention for that championship. So long way to go yet, but I do like to keep my eye on that championship and see who's coming out as the favourite. But yeah, next week Brazil will be back Friday. But before then it'll be Tier 1 and Tier 2 races on Wednesday and Thursday. And I think this week in F1 it is Singapore. So another street circuit to look forward to. And yeah, we'll catch you when we're back. Thanks very much, Boosted, for joining me in comms. Appreciate that.
Yep. Thanks very much for having me.
And we will be back soon with more racing action next week. So stay tuned, everyone, and thanks for watching. And hit that like button if you haven't done so already. That's it from us. Good night, everybody.